Hi everyone and welcome back to A Very Crafty Holiday. In today's video we are going to be creating a hostess gift. So I decided to create a wine tag with a coordinating greeting card. I decided that I wanted to add some stitching onto this wine tag. So I'm taking our new cross stitch tag dynamics and I have removed the hole detail from the inside area of that tag. It's completely optional. You can leave it in the tag if you only want to use it with the tag, or you can separate it so you can use it with other designs like I've done here. So I've added those little holes into my wine tag and I'm going to create a pattern and stitch a wine glass onto this wine tag. So I just wanted to show you how to use the Create Your Own Patterns download that we have available. So I just print these out onto regular typing paper and I keep them on hand for any time that I kind of get an idea of a pattern that I want to create. And I just use a marker or anything I happen to have on hand and I just kind of color in the grid. And if I mess it up, I just start over. So don't be afraid to just start adding color and figuring out how you want to create your design. So I knew that I wanted to keep it pretty straightforward. A wine glass is relatively easy, so this wasn't too hard of a pattern to kind of come up with. So I started it there first, and then I decided I didn't like how I did the bottom. I didn't want to have 3 rows. I decided I would rather have 2. So I'm just kind of working with both of the 2 squares there to kind of figure out my design. And I'm doing it on both to see what I like better when I'm finished. So I'm just kind of adding lines of color until I have the wine glass kind of in the shape that I want. And it's always nice to start smaller and then keep adding. That way you don't have to try and scribble out the color as you go. So I didn't like that bottom still, so I decided to keep working on this one and recreate the top of the glass because I was happy with that, but I didn't want to have that same bottom. So I just kind of kept adding the color till I was happy with the design, and then once I was finished with it, I was ready to start stitching on my tag. And the great thing about these is that once you create the pattern, you can keep it on hand for future use. So you can kind of trim them out and keep them in a little notebook or wherever you want to keep them so that you have all of these patterns when you want to reuse them. Now when I first started this, I was originally going to use this straight pattern paper as an accent on my tag. So I'm using that to pick out my red floss. So I use DMC floss, and this is a 6-strand floss, and I kind of decide, depending on the project, how many strands of that thread I want to use. So for this one here, I decided to use 4 strands. So I just looked at my pattern and realized that I need to go 2 rows up and I need to start on the 5th stitch over. So I just figured out where that was going to be, and then I'm just going to start sewing with my white thread. So when I first drew the pattern for the wine glass, I had originally thought that I was going to do all the stitching in one color. I was just going to do white. And then I had decided after that pattern was finished that I was going to add that red color. So normally when I do the patterns, I like to show the different colors with different colors of markers. But because I had originally planned to do all one solid color, I did the entire wine glass in that pink highlighter. So I am going to add some pencil lines to this once I get through the white at the bottom to kind of figure out where I want the red to be to indicate that there's red wine in the glass. So I'm not going to leave all of the stitching in the video. The stitching does take a while. I do have another video that I will link in the description down below, kind of just showing how to use the cross stitch tag, and it goes into a little bit more detail on the actual stitching. But I'm just doing a regular cross stitch, so this is just an X pattern, and I'm just following the pattern that I've created on that downloadable PDF. So I have come to the end of this piece of white thread, so I'm just going to end this piece here. So what I like to do is flip my tag over and just run my needle through some previous stitches. I just run it underneath of those and then pull it tight through there, but not too tight since it is paper. And then I just trim it off with my scissors, and that will end that stitching piece. Now here's the part I mentioned where I'm taking a pencil and just kind of figuring out where I want to add the red thread to indicate that there's wine in the glass. So I decided to go ahead and jump to the red now and get all of the wine stitched in. And then once I have that done, I'm going to go back to the white and finish off the wine glass. So I'm just starting at the very bottom where that red wine is going to start. And then I'm just going to go row by row and work my way up until I have all of those stitches in there. I really love seeing the shape come to life as you do all of the stitching. It's just so rewarding to me to kind of keep going and when I'm done have this finished shape that I've created. And I was really happy as I was adding this red that I decided to use it and not just do the white. I really love the look of craft at the holidays for gift wrap and different things, so I was really happy with the white, red, and craft color combination. So I'm just jumping ahead a little bit here now. You can see I finished doing all of the stitching on the top of the wine glass, and I'm just making my way around here and finishing off the rest of the stitches, and now my wine glass is finished. So I'm just going to repeat that same process as before and run the thread under some previous stitches and trim that off, and now I have a completed stitched wine glass on the front of my tag. Now I didn't show it on camera, but I did cover the back of that with another piece of craft cardstock just so you didn't have the holes kind of showing through to the air. And then I did some accessorizing. I added a piece of pattern paper to the top with some silver sparkle cardstock, and I also added a sentiment at the bottom. Now the great thing about the tag is it's not limited to just the holidays. I made it kind of generic, but then I turned it into a Christmas gift by having the Merry Christmas card that coordinates with it. And now that I'm done, I have the wine tag that I can attach to a bottle of wine with a greeting card to take with me to a holiday party or any type of event over the holidays. So I really hope you enjoyed this video and got some ideas for creating a Hostess gift. And please leave a comment on the video for your chance to win a $50 gift card to the MFT online store. We will see you tomorrow for more holiday fun.